Computer. Lights.
Hey guys, I'm just stars today. So I figure out what happened to my camera. So we're out of camera this morning. Not sure why. So I'll figure that out in a second here. And that'll be okay. So give me just a second here to figure out why my camera's not working. And we will get that under control. This is you. And you go over here. Go here. And I'll just reboot you. See if that gives me anything. Huh. It doesn't say we're live at all. In fact, it's saying we are very dead. Deactivate, activate. There we go. Look at that. Now we're back. We're back. While I'm at it, I'm going to change my mouse because my wife just gave me her old mouse. Help us a lot. I can't see and pull this out at the same time here. I don't want to unplug the wrong thing. So, yeah, I know. You're all mad because I'm doing stuff. Okay. There's a trunk of wires that go through the middle of my computer. Not you. And that's it right there. And then you get turned this way. And you go this way. And then you go where? Where'd you go? Here. I think. Man. Maybe. Let's see. There. Woo! That took an awful lot of effort. And then we will plug this guy back in. And that should do that. All right. In theory, we have fixed this problem. Right? We are mouse hunting. Look at us mouse hunting. Now let's see if this mouse works. Oh, yeah, look at that. This mouse works. We'll save the changes. Whew! That was a lot of fixing that was going on here first thing in the morning this morning. But we got everything under control. So, there we go. Good morning, everybody. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. I'm just going to move this guy up here. There we go. Now move this guy to right here. All righty. Woo! Complicated morning. I have a new mouse now, courtesy my dear and lovely wife. And she gave me her mouse, which is kind of cool. So I'm going to get some cleaner here. Wherever my cleaner went. Where did my cleaner go? Oh, there it is. Because it's covered in dust. This guy has been not used for a while. So we'll quickly just clear all the dust off of it using cleaner. So one of the things you never want to do with electronics is spray it directly. So never spray your cleaner directly on a thing. Yeah, it's a very responsive mouse, which may actually drive me crazy in a while here. So we're going to see. There we go. Just clean some of this kind of dust, and because she hasn't used this mouse in a long time. And so I'm just going to clean the mouse up a little, get some of the dirt and grime off of it. Sitting too long in one spot, gathering dirt. So there we go. There, much better. Good job. I got this thing cleaned up. Need to get more cleaner, I think. Looking at this, kind of getting low on my Windex. I love Windex. It's like the generic, super useful cleaner for everything. I feel okay. Here we go. Look at us getting everything together this morning. All right, so this morning we're going to work on the bridge. What are you doing? Why are you back there? Goober? We have to have these talks all the time. You and me, you goof. He doesn't know that I have a camera aimed backwards. Okay, I'm going to load up Blender. Let's get Blender started. Here's what we're doing today. So yesterday we finished the deck plans. All of the deck plans are now complete. So we're going to work on the bridge. In order to work on the bridge, we're going to need to bring up just the bridge segment of the deck plans. And we're going to build those things together today in Blender. So here we go. That's what we're doing. Loading up the paint. Loading up the old. Okay, the only problem is I need more cord. Okay, so it's pulling something else. Okay, open recent deck plans 2. We'll bring that up. Here we go. We're going to bring the monitor. Okay, so yesterday I had finished these guys up. And we've got a couple of little minor things we still need to work on here, but for the most part, this guy is done. We now know every spot on the ship. And we're going to concentrate on these two sections right over here. That's what we're going to work on the most today. We've got this in reverse on both sides, so we actually can do it this way, and it's reversed, and it'd be fine. And we still have the grids on the ship so that we can actually take a look at this in detail. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a new version of this. And what I did was I just hit Control Shift E. Oh wait, let's also turn on the low ceiling pieces just in case, because there's a couple of things that are kind of plausibly low ceiling on this. I'm going to do Control Shift E, and we're going to call this our work print. And so we're going to save it as, and we're going to say Corvette Deck Plans 2 in JPEG. We're going to call this work print. And this is going to be for when we start working on the exterior of the ship. We want to know where all the windows are. We want to know where everything goes so that we can actually get that squared away too, so that everything matches. That was the whole point behind doing every single room in the ship, was literally so that we could have this work print version so we can match all of the windows on the outside to the inside so that everything looks the same. But we're not working on this guy today. We're going to be working on a much more specific thing. So we're going to take here, we're going to go into, hello, I'm not thinking straight because I've got two different things going. Here we go, change canvas size. So we're going to just change the canvas size, and we're going to trim everything but the bridge out of here. The bridge is 2 decks high, and it has a hallway in front. It has a hallway around the outside. I'm not sure I want to deal with that hallway, but just in case, I'm going to make sure I capture all of that, including the hallways. Okay. And this, then we're going to save as, and this is called Corvette Bridge. This is all just so that we can bring this into here. Okay. So we're going to then go and say, add a mesh. We're going to add a plane. I'm going to take this plane and we're going to move them out of the way. We can't see very well. I don't actually know if I want to keep the cube. So let's just go ahead and delete the cube. Okay, we're going to take the plane. We're going to map it. If I can remember how to map things. Anybody remember how to map things? Add. Material 1 is a material. Probably what we don't want. Well, no, we do. We want this. So let's go ahead and use the node. Ugh. Why do I do this to myself? Okay. This is correct, but that's not what I'm looking for. So we're just going to take you. We're going to say, I don't know, image. Surface, use nodes. Nice to have the wheel. Just saying. Volume. Somewhere there needs to be a, how do you load this? Right. One more pass on this guy. Oh. Hang on. I'm just cleaning off the wheel here. problem with old reusing technology, of course, is that, especially when it's technology that hasn't actually been used in a while, you end up with a little bit of a still grime on. There's still grime on this a little bit. And it's just dust. That's all it is. When you have something that hasn't been used in a very long time, it ends up being kind of dusty and grimy. Okay. So, okay, here we go. We still need to figure out how to get an image on here, right? So we need to figure out how to add a surface to this material. We'll just call this image, bridge, image, right? And all we want out of this is, image texture. There we go. Look at us. Like we almost know what we're doing here. Almost. Except now I have forgotten where the heck I put things. Textures. Up. Buildings and surfaces. Up. Nope. Kitty wake pieces. No. Okay. Where did we save you? Ships and props. Okay. So we had to go all the way out to Bellatrix. Ships and props. That's where it is. And we have Corvette Bridge. U. Perfect. Okay. Now we've loaded that. Now we can only see it in render mode. So there we go. Whew. That took a lot of effort. Did I make this perfectly square? By complete and total accident? 744 by 766. Okay. Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to undo what we just did. Right, and then we're going to change canvas size because I didn't think about this one until now. And 750 by 750, because if it's perfectly square, then we don't have to worry about it being, because of course that's the way it's going to be, right? There we go. So we'll save that. Save. And we'll actually call this bridge A because it already loaded a bridge. And so I don't want to load the bridge. I want to reload it. Sorry for taking a lot of time there, guys. We had to figure this out. So this is important because I really, really need for the grid to match on this. And so it's important that we get lined up correctly. So we're going to take our bridge here and we're going to open bridge A. And it was only a minor jump, but you can see that it did jump. So I'm going to take this, make it bigger till everything matches. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So 23 is going to be 11, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 5. So and then we should be able to just move it down. It's slightly large. A little larger than that. All right, we're just trying to get this lined up correctly so that the grid work is correct. For some reason, I'm really having a problem with this. That's irritating in and of itself. Maybe what I should do is not that one. That one. So I have an auxiliary grid. So we can put this auxiliary grid on top here. And that way we can see underneath it. Regardless, though, I think I want to make this so that it doesn't, because we got to be careful of not getting into the Orlop deck over here. Let's do 800 by 800. And then line it up so that it's straight on something here. With computer stuff, the more important thing is to be as aligned as possible. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and take this out on this side because it just is confusing us. There we go. Now it's 800 by 800. It's exactly this size. There. Okay, save as B. We are learning as we go. As they say, there are no mistakes as long as you are learning. And we are learning. So We are creating a better environment. Okay, now that we've done this, this guy should be midline right here. There we go. And now we can kind of see that what we're looking at here is slightly larger, but just not by a whole lot. Interestingly, I find that it's interesting that this is not exactly this is complicated and difficult. All right. You're asking yourself, why do you have to be this accurate, guy? Well, the truth is, I put this whole grid in here so that everything would line up. That's the whole point behind the grid. Right? That was the whole point behind redoing this entire thing. That was the point, was so that I could match what was going on in Blender with what was going on in the deck plans. That was the entire point. So, I mean, that's part of the frustration here, is that you know what? We could do this a different way. If we go into edit mode, we can take the object and move its point to right here. That's the pivot point. And then we don't have to go through all of this. I don't know why I don't think of these things before. Right? I'm going to go back into object mode, and we go to here and line it up right there. And then all we have to do is scale it until it works. Which is between those two. Doesn't surprise me, I guess. So, that's all right. That took literally a second. I don't know why I don't think of these things before. Okay. I think we're off now by about 10 centimeters. And frankly, I think that's probably good enough. And stupidly, I trimmed the very front of this off. I don't... Oh, well. This took way too much effort, way too much time. I'm not messing with it anymore. Okay. So we're going to rotate to the side here, and we're going to drop this guy below the grid. And we're doing that just so that he's not on the grid itself, so that I can use the grid to build the pieces. So that's the next thing we're going to do. Now, the scale on this, by the way, is not in fact set. to 1 square equals 1 meter. It's set to 1 square equals 1 centimeter, but that's still fine. It will still accomplish my goal on here. I'm okay with that. It's fine. Right now, what I'm looking for is just the ability to add pieces. So here's our first piece of the bridge. All right, go in here, and then we're going to scale it all the way down. Righty. Let's go into edit mode. We'll select this, and I'll bring it back. We've got kind of the floor down here looks like it's pretty nominal at this point and nominal at this point, and then it starts being weird from here. So bring that forward. Hard part's going to be going into naked mode because we lose our picture in naked mode, right? So once we're in naked mode, things are going to be harder to deal with because we've got to go into naked mode to select like this point, right? And then switch back to bring this point around to there, right? Then go to naked mode, select this point, and go back and bring this point to here, right? And go to naked mode, grab this point, and go back. I am sure, because I'm not the first person to ever use Blender, that there is a way or a method of which to do this so that it doesn't, in fact, involve me clicking back and forth like this ridiculously. Because I can't possibly have been the first person to ever use a texture for a guide. So there must be either a texture guide format or something where I can adjust this as I need, but I don't have it. So there's that. So what we're only going to do anyway, it doesn't really matter, is we're only going to do half of this guy because we can just mirror. Right, so we're going to bring this guy around to the middle of the bridge. It's right there. And we will grab you, and we'll bring you back to here. We'll grab you and bring you to there. All right. The key reason we're doing this is because we need to grab both of these. Key reason we're doing this is because we're going to now go to the side. I thought I made a box. Did I make a plane? I mean, that's still fine. It'll work just fine. In fact, it probably would have worked much better. Well, I'm okay with that. I'm not even mad. I'm not even mad. So we're going to take this guy then, and we're going to select all of him, since we can. And we're just going to hit extrude and bring him up just a hair. All right, here's the bridge floor. We're going to go to the side here. We're going to go like so. I'm going to pull this out. And this is going to be the edge of the bridge floor. So we're going to run that around, and we're going to ultimately build up the walls around the outside edge of this sort of cup around the outside of the bridge floor. You know what? We're not going to do that. We're just going to leave the bridge floor flat and let it do its thing and not worry about anything else. And we're going to bring this in as one unit, one piece. So we're going to do that. Because the more I think about it, the more I think this should be it. This is our piece right here, right? Makes it so much easier to deal with. Let's go ahead and get a modifier on it. And we're going to do the mirror modifier to mirror to either side. You can already see that the clipping is ridiculous. So I'm going to extend its merge until all of those lines are all merged together. And this makes for one unit, but I still see walls. So let's go ahead and bring that up more. To there. That's the end of it. I guess is 0.6 is all we're ever going to be able to get out of this, which is fine. So then we go into object mode and we say apply. And now this is one unit. And there's our bridge floor. Okay, so we've made the floor. Now the thing we really want to make sure is when we make the side of the bridge, we want it to be 3 meters high. And then we want to put another ring in from this map that's up at 3 meters, right? So there is a second floor, a second deck up here, this Orlop deck opening right through here. So we're going to build the same thing we just built here, but in reverse. And it's only going to be just there for just long enough for us to figure out where things are, because really, in the end, it's just structural struts that go up and over. So we don't need to worry about it later. So we're just going to build this now. Add a mesh. And this time we're going to do a cube because, oops, and that was weird. So I'm just going to build this cube, and I'm going to put it right up here at the top, right? I'm going to go into edit mode, naked mode, naked mode, naked mode. I'm going to bring this in and bring this in too. And it doesn't need to be that big, right? So we're just not going to worry too terrible much about it. Okay, we'll go back into here. And what we've got now is kind of, I probably should have left it as a plane now, because now we really do have to do this number where you go through and select the whole 9 yards and then switch back and forth. Okay. And this is just going to describe 1/2 of this. So I'm going to take this guy and do this. There's the top. So what I'm doing here is I'm just building a guide. And this guide is just telling me where the outside of this is. Okay, I need to extend this guy out because otherwise we're going to have issues. All right, so here we go. There. So this is now described the inside edge of my secondary bridge piece. Whoa, 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 whoa. No running away here. I'm actually going to go on ahead and just grab, not that, I'm going to grab this and swing it around like so, because we got to kind of go through the back of it too to give us sort of an idea of where the porch is for the upstairs on this. So we kind of grab some of these guys and kind of pull them out, make it look nicer. I don't know why I'm making it look nicer. It's not critical. This is literally just to tell us where the outside of the upper deck is. That's it. So we can grab this section right here and go here and then just say extend, and we'll extend it to there like so. And so what we're doing is just telling us where the back wall of this bridge secondary section is. All right. Because I'm going to need to know this. I'll actually I will add the turbo lift alcove because I'm that kind of person. Except that, of course, we all know that it's a turbo lift in Star Trek's world. It's not a turbo lift in Bellatrix Rising. It's a tube that you can just float up. So it's the floaty tube. Right? Okay, take this guy now. We'll do the same thing we just did before. Add modifier. We're going to add a mirror to it. But it's off center. Okay, we're going to unadd the mirror to it. And we're going to place this back in edit mode. We're going to move. Where is the centroid of this thing anyway? Does anybody even know where the center of this thing is? There it is. Like Blender's like, yeah, we don't know. I mean, it could be anywhere or whatever. Add modifier mirror. There we go. Blender's like, I don't know, man. I just stick stuff places randomly. Okay. Since I don't care very much about whether this looks good or not, and I really shouldn't, we're going to go back into edit mode and take all of the bottom thingies and put them really close to the top thingies, like so. This is nothing more than a strut that goes on top of the bridge piece to tell us where we're going to be placing things. So the Orloptex fits in here like so. You can see how we've got kind of the setup here. It looks roughly. So we're just going to move this until it fits here like so. And this will now tell us, now we'll go to the left and make sure that it's 3 meters up. Right, so now it's 3 meters up. And now what we have is we have the opening structure here. So now when I build a strut going from here up and over, it's going to make sense. And that's the whole point. So we're going to now take this one, and we're going to duplicate him. Right. Nope. Copy. And this will tell us at 3 meters, where is the top of the second floor of this? Now, we can see that we're going to have to go quite a bit in. So this top piece isn't going to be as straight up as the bottom piece. In fact, it's not going to be even that close to straight up. What needs to happen now, we're going to go into naked mode. We're going to take this entire, you, go to edit mode. We're going to take this entire critter, and we're going to shrink him back to about there, and push him all the way back to here. And now we've got a pretty solid idea of where these struts are going to go from the top down. I'm going to take this, and we're going to go into the top view and just double check, right? If we turn off this guy here and we look at the main bridge, this matches right about here on this Orlop deck. So I actually kind of want to take the sides of this and make them a little thinner, just so that there's some graphical design between this. We have to remember, though, there's a stairwell right here. So when we do the construction of those spines, we want to make sure that the spines come down and don't make it so that when you walk down the stairs, you have to do this. Going down the stairs, you have to kind of turn sideways so you don't hit your head on the struts. Okay. All these are guides at this point. We have nothing more than guides at this point. So if you look at all of the pieces now we can design a strut that goes this way, which is what we're about to do. The first thing we should do is put the bridge ring in. So at the top up there will be a bridge ring. It's a ring that sits at the top with a light in the center that lights up the bridge. I don't know. A bridge ring. I don't know. It's a thing. It's, tell your friends. So we're gonna go back into object mode, add a mesh. And in this case, I want to kind of do a torus, but actually I think a circle is probably clearer and cleaner and probably the thing we want. So what we really want is a cylinder, like so. And we'll go to the side, go into edit mode, and we're going to go into naked mode, a lot of modes, and bring this all the way up to about there. I'm going to take the top part of the cylinder, and I'm going to extend it. And the reason is because when you look up the bridge towards that top deck, you're going to want this ring to have sort of widgets and things all around that. Cup holders, that's very important. The Orville's ship has cup holders on the bridge. I'm just saying, right? The Orville has cup holders. Why don't we have cup holders? Always the things that make you wonder. Okay. So now we've got this guy. Cup holders are critical. Good morning, Donald. How are you doing this morning? You hanging in there? Sticking with me? All right, so we're going to look at this from the top view. And let's take a look at where we are here. Wow! That wasn't what I wanted to do. Transport. Okay, so here's this forward ring. Right? Now it lines up. Right? Well, we live on our Janeway fuel. Just saying. Speaking of, tonight we get to see Janeway again. I'm so excited. Janeway kicks butt. So we're going to get to see our dear Captain Janeway in action. And I think I even saw one quick preview where her hologram was like holding a coffee mug. And I was like, you see, they would even program her hologram to drink coffee. You know what I mean? Like, totally. That's a thing. I'd be so disappointed if they didn't even mention coffee, because I would be like, you guys even Trekkies, come on. Right? Right? So you just woke up. Good. All right. So we've got this top ring piece here, which is object mode. This is going to be, really? That's where you decided to place the centeroid. Okay, let's fix this. Edit mode, because if we don't, it's just going to be horrible. So we're going to go over here and fetch. You know, I don't mind. I think she did too. Well, let's make sure it's also not at a weird altitude. It is at a weird altitude. All right, let's grab it now. Put this part at the correct altitude and the correct location-tude. There we go. The first piece of the bridge is in. Woot, 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 woot. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is add. I don't think we need to add anything to that. Right? I mean, I think we're pretty good with it just being a dome, and then inside could be, light rigs or whatever. And I could just draw those on the face. I think that's probably okay. Yeah, I think that's okay. We'll do that. We'll do that. Okay. So the next piece we're going to add now, I'm going to go back into object mode, add mesh. We're going to add a cube. We start everything out with a cube, right? I'm going to place the cube right here. Okay. So when we go into edit mode, we're going to take. Now you may have noticed that I don't need to go into texture mode anymore. Or that mode where I see the textures, because now all of my pieces of the bridge are physically modeled with these guides. So since I did the physical modeling now with a certain amount of physicality, I can build the pieces of the bridge and still see all of the different stuff that I need to deal with, right? I mean, like, I'm going to put that guy there. And this guy goes here. So now I actually can see physically where these pieces of the bridge are. Because I added modeling. So since I put the modeling in, it's a little difficult, but everything can now be in build naked mode. And I don't have to worry about directly behind. There we go. See, we're now looking at this forward strut piece coming out and going around. So Let's do this from the top. Let's do this from behind real quick. Make sure that we've got this all squared away. And this guy goes exactly out of this piece. In case of a plot twist. Pull door in case of plot twist. If we look back at here, I mean, you can access the main bridge all along these sides right here if you really needed to. So I guess if we had emergency plot twist, there could be a door right here. Certainly, forward in this little computer compartment up here, not you, would be a thing, right? In case of plot twist, break glass. Okay, let's get a little closer. Don't be shy. Get a little closer with arid extra dry. Here. Now we need to look. And I'll bet you these guys are not lined up for the bottom. Because the bottom's really right here. There we go. Connected in, and that's fine. Okay. Okay, these guys now, they actually need to be like right here. Needs to be right off there before it starts. Because the moment it leaves this piece, it's going to have to start sloping down to match the arc going down to here, right? So by the time we are out of here, Bork, and going this way, it needs to start arcing down. So we need to make sure we have that capability.
It's time to take a quick break.
Man, time sure is fun when you're having flies. I wasn't even really ready for it to be the middle of the show already. Okay, so we got to do the thing here in a minute, Donald. We got to get up. Crawling and removing equipment to get to the bridge. Yeah, that would be disaster. Season 4. Okay, let's stretch and do our stretchy thingies. Oh my goodness. Right. While we're at it, I'm going to save this because today we are going to get an oil change on the car. Okay. Update and shut down. You do you, boo. It's going to update. And once it does, it'll shut down. So, anyway, since we're going to go get an oil change on the car, I'm going to take this, and it's going to take them 2 hours to do that oil change. So I'm going to go to the dealership, and I'm going to just take my headphones and take my computer and saddle up, get ready for, not you, and take all of that and go there and do my thing. And I'll just type and right on the episodes of Bellatrix Rising, which at this point in time, I was just talking to my wife about this. I think what I'm going to do with Bellatrix Rising on episode 1 is I think it's going to be 2 comics, not 3. So it's only going to be 2 issues. That's still 64 pages. But I was having a hard time with coming up with a sort of a plot. I was coming up with too much of it. There wasn't enough in there. So we'll get there. All right. Oh, look at that. It's gotten all cattywampus. There we go. It all slides out of position whenever you. So this guy is not going to be the actual. Yeah, I can't. Not for the first one. So this is a brand new car. So Volkswagen not only is willing to do it for free, which is nice. But they are. Why are we stuck? What's the story here? There we go. Thank you. They are willing to do it for free, which is great. But it does mean that I have to haul it into the dealership and have the dealership do the dealership thing. Yeah, that's true. But I mean, we're only at 8,000 miles in this car. So it doesn't even really have a lot of mileage on it yet. And that's mostly because of a trip to Texas. All right. This guy needs to come down more like this because it's not spider legs. This is a support strip. So I don't need it to be that way. I don't need it to be that way. So, okay, now we're passing through the floor pod right here. And actually, the more I look at this, the more I think I want it forward more. So let's talk a little bit more about where this guy goes. Because now that he's out and about and living large, I kind of think he might need to be here. No. First of all, let's grab him the way he's supposed to be grabbed, because you'll move him off of his center if we don't. So if we put him here, what do we get? What is with this thinky thing? We're getting a lot of thinking going on. Although this does worry me because I'm worried that Blender might crash. I'm not exactly sure what's going on. It's making my computer think so hard. Oh, you've selected the wrong thing. And that'll put us here. we think? One more over? Let's move you one more over and see where you end up. And that's going to put you here. That's probably a lot more what I want. Right? And what I'm looking for here is I'm looking for this to sort of arc through this part of the ship to here. So I'm liking that a whole lot better. So let's talk about that one. I feel like we could be a little bit more like so, and like so, and like put this. I know you're like, what are you doing? But I've got the side view kind of going the way I want it to go here. And then we'll go fix the fact that it just went cattywampus because you know it did. So there we go. Move you to here. And move you to here. There. And that'll put us through this section of the strut piece right there. That's more what I'm looking for. And that defines sort of the dome. So what this is going to be is this. There will be struts that run down, and then it's just to be space, open space that they see because it's all projection on these walls, right? So it's all just little TV monitors, so to speak. So when you're standing on the bridge, you're looking out into space. But I wanted to put these struts in there so that it wasn't just a character standing out in the blackness of space, which would look so strange. I wanted to give some kind of reference so that you can see what part of the ship you're dealing with. So that's what this is all about here. What we're also going to do is move this guy a little bit more like so that this is like this, and this is like this. And the reason behind that is that at this point in time, we're defining a little bit more than just the basics design of this. And I'm going to bring this guy in like so, and this guy in so that it has a bevel. Right, so we're going to have this bevel going for it. And I know you're like, well, I can't see anything, and it's difficult, and I get that. You don't have to trust me on this one. Okay. When we look down this line here, we should see the bevel be clear. There we go. And we'll come up here and do the same thing up here. Move that inward. And move this guy inward. And you see how this is now beveled. And that'll make this look a little bit better and a little bit cleaner when it's, part of this structure that you're looking up at all the time. So now when we look at this, you can kind of see what we're talking about here. Well, we've got sort of we don't really need this guy anymore. Right. But we're looking up now when we're on the floor of the bridge, looking up, that's what it's going to look like with these struts coming down. And there will be 2 of them forward and 2 of them aft. And the after ones, we don't have to worry too terribly much about going past here because they just go down directly behind the the bridge control or the upper deck, and it won't be an issue. All right. Now that we've done this, because I was just talking about it, let's go on ahead and do the ones that are directly behind. So I'm going to copy, and then we're going to paste, right? And this guy goes aft, like so, off of this strut right here. So he's not going to go very far because he only needs to go to like right there. And that's it. So he's going to go straight down pretty much, but that's okay. That's the best part about this, is that we can go on ahead, and with this being an after section, we can just go to edit mode and move all of these pieces really tight and close, like right here. And that defines that section right there. And we are done with this guy, right? Because now when we look at it this way, he just literally like straight down right there, right? So we'll go on ahead and clean them up a little, because like these guys right here probably could go forward like so. There. So now when we look at this upper deck, it doesn't have a strut that continues down through the back. It doesn't need it. Yep. Uh-oh.
Hello. This is an informational message from Jeffco Public Schools. Good morning, parents and guardians of North Arvada.
Okay. Parents and guardians of us. I don't know what that's. The problem is that they constantly send us messages saying, check your email. And though I appreciate that, I can check my email. I don't need to interrupt but I need to make sure that that's not the school calling to have, the parent and guardian of my kiddo come get him from school because he was fighting or something. Bridges are centered for command structure and focus and stuff like that. But we're going to, I kind of wonder if I need to, anyway, it doesn't matter. We'll worry about that in a minute. Whether I need to put another strut right here to go this way or here. It likes its struts. It likes to strut its stuff. Okay. So we're going to now extend this guy down. Round. Bork. Like so. We're going to do this side view so that we can get this still kind of going with the curve here. So it's kind of moving this way. We're going to go here. And this goes all the way down to the floor. And forward mount it here. And then we'll check the top view because it's probably gone cattywampus. It totally has. Because it needs to be here. Okay, so we want this strut to be straight. Otherwise, what's the point of having a strut? I'm going to do this here. We're just going to make it go all the way to the front of the bridge in a point sort of like this. We're going to twist this point just a little as we head down. And there we go. So it's going to look nice and arced like that. You can actually see it here. Right here's the arc. You see how it twists to go into that spot? And that's going to look nice and clean. And it's just a design choice that looks good. But I also feel like we're missing sort of that design choice here. So let's move that down. Like it's starting to kind of bow to this shape because it needs to kind of come down a little up here. Right, not a lot. We've got to start kind of arcing it down. So that's what we're going to do here is we're going to start arcing it down. Doesn't need to go back though. There we go. Like so. All right. Now if you look at the strut, we get kind of, it twists down, but it also sort of forms the outside edge of this dome. So it's forming the dome so that we can get an idea of where that dome is. Okay, so I'm going to take this guy here. I'm going to copy him. I'm going to paste him. I feel like it didn't copy all of them. Maybe I shouldn't have done that one. Let's go back into object mode. Select this object and then copy. There we go. That's probably better. It's better that way anyway. So we're going to put this guy here on this strut piece. And we're going to swing him straight like so. And then we're going to do the old trick we've done before, right? And shrink him straight across this one. Why is it not doing that? There we go. Wow, that's really confusing. Still works, but boy, that was remarkably confusing. All right. Now we'll place him in the correct place. There. And then we've got two of them. The front arc. Now remember, there won't be anything on the second deck as far as these go because there is a back wall that we won't, that has the alcove in it and everything like that. So that back wall isn't going to be really viable. We're going to put all of these struts and everything on one UV map so that it'll just map the whole thing. Yeah, I would assume. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. I would assume that the entire thing here is that there would be different varying things that we can do. Okay. So now that we've done that, we can now see the structural support here. It actually kind of looks like these two struts are the same critter, like going up and through and over. So it looks like it's two rings holding up and everything like that. And yes, you're right. That's part of it, is that add structural support to the bridge so that the bridge, which could theoretically, since it is almost on the top of the ship, the bridge could indeed get smooshied. So this is all to prevent it from getting smooshied. So, okay. We'll copy you. paste you. And we'll go to the top view. And we'll go into naked view. And we will move you to here, where we will then promptly do the same thing we just did with this guy and make him -1. There we go. And then rotate you into position. There we go. Now we've got the main pieces of this sort of in. Right? All right, moving along. Let's go to the upper deck, which really we could just take this guy and copy him and paste him and then bring him up and edit him into place. Right? So we'll put him in as the floor temporarily, and then we will go to the top view here. We'll move him over here, and we'll go into this mode again, right? Because we haven't seen this in a while, but here is the top part of this critter. So this will give us an idea. We'll actually go on ahead and just let's put it from right there, from the beginning of the tube going down. So go into naked mode real quick, and we'll say edit. Go to object mode, select just you, edit. Whoa. Okay, and we'll take all of this guy here, right here, and we'll move him back. I'll take this, and we'll move him back quite a bit too. And actually, we could take this entire thing and just shorten it and then move it back. And now we can take a look and see where we are. Wow, like almost dead on. Look at that. Not bad for just a guess. Swag. Right? So, what we've done here is pretty much just build this front piece pretty good here. Kind of want to push this out like so, kind of like that. Kind of want to push this guy out just a little bit like that too. And push this guy in. And push the guy below him in. There. That's kind of what we're looking for here. This side's got a stairwell, so we kind of have a... Oh, yeah. Absolutely. That's what this room is, right back here. This is the bridge's auxiliary life support system. Right? Because that is ridiculous to be able to do what that happened like more than once on the original series was, or even for that matter on Next Gen, where they would put some kind of thing into the bridge. And it's like, no. You know, I would put a long tube, right? And then the air from the ship comes into this tube and has a sensor right here. And if anything happens, this side of the tube instantly closes, and then auxiliary air is pumped in from an auxiliary port that's self-contained. So if there's a pressure change, if there's difference in the mix of atmosphere, if, anything happens here, if anything happens, yeah, no. Yeah, because you're right. That's ridiculous. Okay, so now we have the upper deck on this. So here we go. Yeah, see, I should be an engineer. I'm wasting all my time being an artist. Look at me being an artist and just not succeeding. Right? Wasting all my time being an artist. Okay, yeah, go like this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this. And you can see where we're headed here. Obviously, that's a bad. That one there. There. All right. I'll extrude it out, which then we will promptly take and do this too as well. Engineering and art are really close to one another. A lot closer than people think. And so, although I make the joke about wasting my time when I should have been an engineer, the truth of the matter is we're really close to one another as engineers and artists. A lot of engineering is just art with a funny hat. Which is funny because I have, I guess, a cousin who works at NASA, and she is constantly kind of doing the haha, you're not a real engineer, you'd never cut it at NASA sort of thing, because I guess family squabbles are a thing. So not, I am enthusiastically educated in space. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And I do. Okay, we're going to take all of this guy and we're going to shrink him down because we need to get him straightened out now that I've put that edge on, the outside edge. There we go. So just so that happens, this is going to be the lip, the upper lip of the bridge. Naturally, there's no lip right here because this is where the where we're going to have the stairwell. So we're going to take this guy right here. I actually bring him out to here, I think. We're going to do this kind of with all these guys. That's not cool, but it's, it is what it is, and there's nothing we can do really about it. I wonder where Brent is. I haven't seen him. I'm a space savant. I like that. I absolutely adore the idea and the concept of this, but just wait, Donald. We are getting closer and closer. I need this bridge so that I can do the scenes. But we are getting so close to actually having real comic going here. Like alarmingly close. Ooh, you know what I can do? I can take you here and go to here and a puh and an urge and a puh and an urge. Oh man, Boimler is Boimler. Okay. Nope, I went the wrong way. I need to do this, then go this way. There we go. This is just so that I can get into this well. we're going to have to do something about this stairwell. Like I'm going to have to get back here somehow. And this may require you to move this way to here. And then move these two over to there. Because I think that's really what we want. And then I will take this guy and just move him to something like this. Because it's going to have to be some kind of upward motion here to kind of get into this spot. Right? Exactly. You did see the blueprints, right? When I did the blueprints. Because we're not gonna. When I did the blueprints here, but up here in the corner, it was, and not China, right? And it was Brent's idea to call it the Unity Military Control Ship, or UMC Kittiwake, which works perfectly. And I know, I'm not, I'm aware that was a Marine Corps nod that he was trying to head in there, but I'm okay with that. But yep, I put that in there. So we now have, like, this actually says that it was created on Renham. So there we go. Seabird class Corvette. And a puh, and an urge, and a puh. I am quoting Boimler, if you guys are wondering. I am totally quoting Boimler because Boimler is awesome, and I just love the guy, and he's the best. Okay. Now I may have made this correct. Since I don't need to make these parts up here fit, I can just kind of bring this around. Let's make sure. Yep, fits to the stairwell. There we go. Get straight to the stairwell. There we go. And then this stairwell goes downstairs, and it'll be fine. Both the Marines and the Unity have good records. As much as we make fun of him for the Marines are pretty darned awesome. And we only really make fun of it because we love him. And that's the way it goes. And we know that. And I think he knows that too. Gosh, I hope he knows that. Okay, so I'm going to put this right here. And what we're trying to do is fix this part of the wall right here. So we got kind of a little off over here. So I'm going to just push this here and then push that there. I feel like either the wall needs to go up on here, but see how it turned a different color there? That means that the mesh just folded over on top of itself, and I want to make sure I don't do that. He will laugh. Yeah, I'm missing him tonight. I'm missing him today. I think he's just swamped, but I still miss him. Of course he needs to work, which is fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with Uncle Sam's misguided children there. There we go. There. Okay, so this is going to form the Voltron. Because why wouldn't it? And you know what I think I will do instead? I will do this. Because this is probably more accurate as to what should happen here. All right. Now we're going to take this. We're going to just go along the top ring right here. More. That's the outside ring. It's going to be hard to grab these top ring pieces. See, because it wants to grab the back. Only those. And here's what we're going to do. There. And that gave us, right? Navy's better. We're just saying. Okay, Brent, get in here. Where are you? This is mostly because we're just missing Brent. All right. The big thing is we don't want this to go over 3 meters. Really, if you think about it, most railings are about 1 meter high. So when we deal with this, you know what? I'm not going to actually disagree with that in a quite a not. His ears are ringing somewhere. Ghost Hand is good on this one. He's talking about how I feel like that's true. Well, and I think that a lot of that has to do with in the Army, you have to protect yourself and protect your platoon. The Navy, you have to protect yourself and your ship, which is a little bit more complicated. There's a lot more moving pieces. There's a lot more things going on. Somewhere we know that Brent's ears are ringing. What's going to happen is he's going to come into tomorrow's show and say, okay, just so you all know. That's going to be funny. Okay, so, but yeah, I'm with you, Ghost Hand. I think that's part of the reason why they've got a higher overall standards than ground units. Although this does not explain the Air Force. Which Ghost Hand may not be that familiar with the ongoing sort of, not indemnity, but the jokes aimed generally at the Air Force. So there may have to be like a little bit of a catch up here for him. Well, he catches up on how the Air Force gets a lot of crap. Yeah. Anyway, it is a sort of an ongoing joke between services to mess with the Air Force in the U.S. services. So Air Force is sort of becomes kind of the whipping boy a little bit. So I just figured I'd explain that as we're, kind of getting on the case of the Air Force. Which, by the way, anybody who's watching this and is serving in the Air Force at the moment. This is the friendly inter-service banter. This is not, in fact, intended to be insulting in any non-inter-service way. No more insulting than it usually is in inter-service. So, just so that people are aware. You know, that was what I thought too. I thought it was very strange to make Space Force part of the Department of the Air Force. I thought that was very weird. I agree, that was just very strange, and I don't know what that was all about. All right, we've got our upper deck now for the bridge. I'm going to put this in here and just kind of snap it into place. Yes. And now we can kind of take a look at the structure we've got. So oh yeah. Well, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, you guys are using U.S. aircraft. No, you're not, are you? You guys be using British aircraft. Which, nothing wrong with British aircraft, obviously. French aircraft. The French have some really cool. The Eurofighter is like a pretty kick-butt airplane. I love the Eurofighters. So, I mean, there's that. You see me look wistfully off. Oh, the Eurofighter. Oh, yes. Huh. That's always interesting, too. Okay. Now, when we're here, now you can kind of see what we're looking at. From this point of view, looking up. Whoa. Hi. And get control here. Ooh, the Eurofighters? Eurofighters are pretty good. I think they have a 2-to-1 thrust to weight, which means that they can sit on their butts. I always felt like Eurofighters were one of those like dramatic, because they were built to go up against MiG-27s, and so that's which is also oh yes, France has history that we can all make fun of, but that's not Brazil. Brazil's a different country. Brazil's aircraft is fine. But he is making a reference to an old joke about France always surrendering. Yeah. Okay. So now you can kind of see what a view upward towards the science and tactical stations, which are up there on that second deck, looks like. And the more I do this, the more I feel like it needs 2 more of these struts going this way and this way to kind of give us an idea of where that is. Oof. But we're getting markedly closer. This is not where the captain sits, by the way. Captain sits right here. But there's lights here. You know what? You're not wrong, Ghost Hand. You're not wrong. Oh, man. When I was in Paris... Man, I miss Paris now. Triangular cross struts. I just think we need 1 more set of struts. That's what I think. Yeah, but I mean, yeah, we can make fun of them all we want, but you're right. Some good cheese, some good wine. Although I don't know. I've rarely eaten any guns from France. I don't know. Are they tasty? Gives you heartburn. Triangular cross dress. I just think I need another arm going this way. That's what I think. That's what I think. I think I want to go just take one of these guys and run it down the sides over here. Or maybe I don't want, and maybe I don't need to. I don't know. We're about 10 minutes to the end of the show, though. So, whatever we're going to do, we're going to get going on it. So, okay. This guy probably doesn't need to be here anymore, but I'm going to just turn him off and not actually remove him from the bridge. Now we can actually see what the structure of the bridge is going to look like to some degree. And now we can kind of decide whether we want 2 more struts or not. Let's go ahead and do it. Let's just take this guy here. We'll copy him. And we'll paste him. And we'll place this guy, let's say, I don't know, here. Maybe there. Let's spin him out so that he's in the right angle. Yeah. Kind of feel like we need to do this anyway. And we'll just bring it down. I'm going ahead and put this right here. And this guy right here. And this guy right here. And then we'll have to check to make sure that there. I can tell I kind of don't like the feel of this, but not actually bad. The only problem is you'll bonk your, well, you won't really bonk your head on it. I don't think, coming down these stairs up here, I don't think that's going to be something where you'd hit your head. So, the whole making fun of the French thing is a military pride thing. And I think a lot of it has to do with World War II, because there's some and there's some bad feelings, bad blood about U.S. soldiers having to go in and fight for France because they folded under Germany so quickly. And so part of the reason that there is this ongoing joke about France has everything to do with the fact that most or many of our military personnel from the military at the time felt very much like they wouldn't have had to have engaged in World War II had the French not just collapsed right underneath Germany. And this is all kind of taken from listening to my grandfather, who, was involved in that conflict. And of course, we see it in a very different light now as history has kind of gone on. Um, well, and that's the thing. That's why I feel like history has a better view of it now, because you're right. Up until Dunkirk, the French, and even after that, the French resistance is like notorious for what it did in World War II. And that French resistance was incredible. But I think at the time, if you're thinking about like where we were in 1950, right? And 1955 and 1960, there wasn't a lot of that. A lot of that probably didn't come out. That wasn't general knowledge. Now it's all part of what we learn when all of us learn about World War II and where we were and what was going on and what was happening. And so I think that, part of this is just sort of a classic service rivalry over the French collapsing so quickly, because that was the perception at the time. In 1941, when you're dealing with, here we just got bombed by the Japanese, we're now ramping up all of our industries and our production, and everything is going into this. And then all of our guys are getting drafted, right? And that was, even though there was a good propaganda campaign to make us feel patriotic to get drafted, it was still scary. A lot of people were being shipped off to war, and a lot of people weren't coming home. In the very beginning, it was really easy to sit there and say, "Oh yeah, we're doing the best." But when our guys started dying out there, then it was like, "Well, no, wait a minute. Did we really want to do this?" As somebody who studies military history and really enjoys military history, I feel like everybody had a part to play. I mean, I even am willing to grant that Germany was not necessarily doing the wrong thing, or at least they didn't think they were doing the wrong thing. And they were kind of shocked to find out that they were doing the wrong thing. And I think a lot of that happened during this. There's a lot of things where it's interesting looking at the history of how we did stuff. It's part of the reason why I like writing these stories, is because there is more to it than just France collapsed quickly. You know what I mean? And we do get this sort of like a you get this kind of weird culture that comes up through the military ranks, from one soldier passing down to the next soldier, passing down to the next soldier, of what people felt and how they felt at the time. I mean, when Donald was serving, there was a direct line, a direct chain of people that he was serving with that had served in World War II. One of them would retire, but had told all the stories to the next generation. They would retire and tell all the stories to the next generation, and so forth. And it's fascinating to me to see how those stories evolved. And like I said, I had the opportunity to talk to my grandfather who served in World War II. Sure. I mean, and that's another one of those, you have to think it out sort of moments when you're talking about where we were.
I mean, obviously the Nazis were a mess and not good people, and they were really not the kind of people you want to idolize in any way. And I have no interest in idolizing anybody, but I do have an interest in understanding. So it's hard to get a people to do a thing, right? It's hard to get especially if it's kill themselves or get themselves killed. So it's really, war is hard from a top-down perspective. Getting your the people of the United States or the people of Brazil to rise up and decide that it's okay to get into a street fight and shoot at people and kill other human beings. That's not in our nature. We're actually not really very good at killing each other, ironically. Because I'm sure that there are a lot of people who are like, we're really good at killing each other. We're really actually not. It's not comfortable. And so we don't do well with that. And we're not particularly good at, I mean, you'll end up with one person or two people who are really good at killing people, but the truth is that we're really sucky at it in general as a people. So you have to figure out a way to convince people. And when you do the history on it, you have to look past that. You have to look past the propaganda that was done to make us decide to kill each other, which is work. That's work to do. And that's what I'm fascinated with. I'm not looking to apologize for anything or looking to justify or, anything like that, because that would be ridiculous. But I am interested in what was at the core, the reason why we did X, Y, or Z. And what was the core reason for it? There we go. Looks like we got ourselves some good solid struts. Now it almost looks like that second deck can hang on by itself. There we go. But that looks like a bridge design that we can handle. Or at least literally the skeleton of the bridge design, right? That's not bad at all. I'll have to shore up these struts in the back because they're not working the way they're supposed to. And I also feel like they're not open in a way that they should. The goal of history when you're trying to look forward on things is to understand it without the anger. And that's hard because all of us are built with these internal angers. You're built with the concept or the idea that these people were bad, these people were good, these people did things and these people didn't. And when you want to look at it from a historical perspective and you want to look at just what happened, because you need to be able to understand that in order to write future works, like I need to write into the future. If I'm going to write into the future, then I need to understand that it's not always black and white and that sometimes it's grays that got us into a situation. And yeah, you're not wrong, Ghost Hand. There's a lot of that going on in World War II. Hitler got a lot of power by exploiting fear, and that worked really well for him. So anyway, okay, so we have done, I'm kind of bummed that we got into this discussion now because this is a great discussion. I love this stuff. I want to write Bellatrix Rising to be a stellar war epic of some sort. They really do. Although if you look at our social media right now, you can see how quickly this stuff can go south. And it's understanding that is kind of terrifying. Okay, so we've finished the struts of the bridge. The skeleton is there. We've got to put in the walls. And there are a number of kind of weird walls in here, which kind of have to be worked on. But this space fits very nicely. We can take this model and stick it inside the model of the Kittiwake that I've already built, because it's now 1-to-1, and that works really well. So I'm all excited. So we're getting there. The bridge is the first scene that we see in the comic, so we kind of do want to make sure it looks and acts the way it's supposed to look and act. So there we go. Okay, I gotta go because I got to go get the oil changed in my car. My car has been whining. I'm not kidding. Every time you get in, it says oil service needed. And then recently, it upped the game, because now it starts putting a little yellow warning icon and says, check your oil. Well, I checked the oil and everything is fine, which means that it's trying to get me to do this. So I've got to go do this. It's fine. But I'll see you all tomorrow. I have no idea whether we've got Pepper or not. I don't think we have Pepper. I don't think he's here tomorrow. I think he's doing something. So anyway, it may just be us continuing to work on the bridge, which is fine because the bridge needs to be done. So I will see you all later. It was great seeing you today, Ghost Hand. It was great having you with us, Donald and Brent. I know you'll see this later. It will be good to see you too. And I hope you take all of our ribbing in the spirit of which it was given, which was, in fun. So until tomorrow, remember to keep your eyes on the stars. Goodbye. Computer, good night.